Hi, I'm Justin from Theirworld. In this 20 by 20 challenge, I'm going to talk about refugees and education. This isn't something that gets talked about a lot. Well, not necessarily as much as it should. So, we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. It might be that because when disaster strikes or war breaks out, there's so much else to think about: food, water, shelter, clothing, not to mention simple physical safety. So we often see those big aid convoys, airdrops, and tented cities springing up. Whether it's in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Uganda, or now Ukraine, children are always involved. People don't realize that the first thing a refugee child loses, often after their homes, is an education. And when it comes to aid, education is usually overlooked. So why does it matter? It matters because education provides a sense of normalcy when nothing else is normal. Because education provides a sense of hope for the future. It allows children to imagine being a doctor, a teacher, or whatever they were dreaming of being before. Back home, children may have seen things that no child would normally see. They may have seen people being killed, or places being bombed or set on fire. They could have spent months fleeing to safety, crossing deserts or dangerous seas. As refugees, they're now living in camps or in other people's houses, or in communities or places with poor conditions. They don't often have much in the way of toys or phones or some of the usual stuff children would normally have. And oftentimes, money is hard to come by for their families, as is forming some type of livelihood. The average refugee is away from home for more than 10 years. Can you believe that? 10 years of their life displaced. They may never even go back. So going to school is something they can count on, whether it's nursery, primary, or secondary school. And without school, they become more vulnerable to child labor, to recruitment by armed groups, child marriage, or even sexual exploitation. The less children receive, the more likely they are to live in poverty when it comes to education. That only creates more strain for the countries that are hosting them. Last year, Theirworld met Ryan. Her mother and father fled the war in Syria, even before she was born. Now they're safe in Lebanon, and Ryan's able to go to school. She said that when she grows up, she wants to become a doctor because she likes helping people. We also met Shaza and her son Hassan. He saw war and terrible things in Syria, his mother said, but like any child, Hassan has lots of energy and likes to learn. Education allowed her to hope that something could become better for him in his future. Priska is from Congo, and she is the mother of a little girl named Happiness. They're now in Greece, where Happiness goes to a learning center about 3 days a week. When she comes home from school, she knows that she can go and show her mother what the teacher taught her, and she tells her mother that she is so very happy. These are all people that Theirworld supported through our project partners. We work to give young refugee children vital early childhood development and to prepare young people with the skills they need for the future, with an MBA scholarship program in Lebanon. Globally, less than 3% of refugees go into higher education. It's such a tiny amount. But the problem is huge. The number of displaced children is larger today than any time since World War II. There's about 80 million refugees, and 40% of them are children. But wherever we work with refugee families, parents always say that education is the first priority. And that is what motivates us. That's why we helped set up Education Cannot Wait. It's a new global fund dedicated exclusively to refugee and displaced education for children affected by emergencies. In 6 years, it's distributed over $1 billion to help millions of children around the world. It's also why we set up a double shift school system in Lebanon. We worked with the government and the United Nations agencies. Syrian refugee children use Lebanese schools when they're empty in the afternoon, after the first shift ends. So far, more than 350,000 children have attended school through this system. We also devised a plan for the Greek government to help put 26,000 refugee children into education, and mainstream it through the country's national education system. They took the blueprint that we worked on and made an agreement with the United Nations. And this month, we'll celebrate 1 year of this program helping refugees have a pathway to education. And we're going to be doing even more to support education for Ukrainian refugees and displaced Ukrainian children and youth, with a big funding commitment from one of our partners coming up soon to help some of the 1.5 million children who have fled the country and the millions more who are displaced. So definitely watch this space. At Theirworld, we call all of this work unlocking big change. It's what we're all about. A good idea or a smart investment can make a difference to millions of children. And investing in refugee education is of such a great value, it's one that we can't not prioritize. It means that refugees are more prepared for work so they can make a positive contribution to the country hosting them, or later return and help rebuild their own country. So regardless of where anyone lives, we believe that no one should be denied an education. Your support, your help, and your attention means the world to refugee children, and it means the world to all of us at Theirworld. So please join us. Thank you so very much for watching, and if you want to learn more about our work with refugees or global education, please visit www.theirworld.org.